Hi, I'm Michelle Bosch, real estate investor, mom, wife, and host of the InFLOW podcast. And I'm passionate about helping women invest in land and apartments. Join me each and every week for real estate investing strategies and interviews with thought leaders that will leave you inspired and ready to step into flow for inflows of cash, inflows of ease, and inflows of grace in your life. Now, here on YouTube are the video versions of my podcast, and in order for you to get my latest information, please go ahead and subscribe. And now, let's go. Welcome to the InFLOW podcast. I'm your host, Michelle Bosch. Excited to have you guys here today on another episode of InFLOW. If you have been tuning in, I am immensely grateful for you guys, really making the time to create space, to letting me into, your world, into your life. And if you have been enjoying the podcast, give me a 5-star review. Please go to iTunes and subscribe and do a written review, because the 5 stars is awesome. But if there's written reviews, it really helps me, increase my rankings and really get many more people and many more women to actually start listening and start, their journey into real estate investing and in a journey really not just into real estate and inflows of cash, but also inflows of ease and inflows of grace in your life. And part of that grace, comes from something that I think it's not very much spoken in the real estate industry, at least not in the education space when it comes to real estate. And that is cash confidence that can come from having an actual business that doesn't depend on you exclusively to actually produce revenue and growth. So today I want to talk to you guys about cash confidence that can come from land and what it requires for you to really have true cash confidence using this asset class as the cornerstone, as the beginning stages, and also the end game of your entrepreneurial freedom or your financial freedom. So, life, I have found, is definitely better and full of many more options when you have cash confidence. We were at a point in our lives back in 1999, 2000, 2001, where we did not have such cash confidence. We had a job and we had a good paycheck. But in spite of having a good paycheck, our entire paycheck was going towards making payments on a car, on a house, on insurance, on our couch, on our bed frames, on our laundry machines, because we were having all of these things and they were all on payments. We were in the rat race big time. And so I know back then that I had zero cash confidence, that I needed to wake up every morning, go to work. Actually, Jack had to travel 100%, and we needed to keep on running in order for us to, therefore have a paycheck at the end of the month and be able to make all of these payments and have some extra for food and maybe one time a year go on vacation and so on and so forth, but really for nothing more than that. So life, I know now, and I'm telling you now with a hindsight of almost 20 years, that definitely life is better when you have cash confidence. And I know I've talked about cash confidence in our Land Profit Labs, which are mini trainings or, that we do inside, or boot camps, I should say, that we do inside of our Facebook group. So if you haven't joined our Land Profit Generator Facebook group, head on over there. It's called the Land Profit Generator Real Estate Investing Group. That's our main group. It's got about 11,000 people in there, a very wonderful, generous community where you can get all the support when it comes to land flipping. But anyways, let me go back to, to the cash confidence part. And what I see a lot of, especially from the point of view of now, part of our legacy being educators and being, catalysts for growth for, 1,000 families that we want, to, transform into millionaires using land investing. What I see out there, that most people are teaching and just selling is selling this idea of like, okay, let me get you started with real estate investing, with real estate flipping, with house flipping, with land flipping, whatever you want to call it, anything that has to do with real estate, and I'm going to get you started. And it really ends there when it comes to what they have in terms of offerings, that there is nothing really that is out there in the marketplace right now that really addresses, yes, those needs of a beginning investor, but also that really addresses the evolution of the investor that wants to become eventually a CEO of their business and that wants to create a long-lasting cash flow machine that doesn't depend on them, So land flipping for cash is perfect. We have the land profit generator method that does exclusively that. It is a proven format that puts family first, but nevertheless requires that you constantly work, that you're constantly sending out mailings, that you're constantly engaging with sellers, that you're constantly engaging with buyers in order to create these cash profits from one-time flips. When you flip for cash, if you do not have any more deal flow coming in to flip, it's really the equivalent of, if you stop there, it's going to be a really good paydays that are going to meet your level of energy and effort that you're putting into. But it is still, in my opinion, very short-term thinking from the point of view that, to me, that sounds still like a busy job. And it's definitely a better job than perhaps the one that we had, where we had to travel 100% and where we had very good pay, but it wasn't pay that was really translating into those 60 and 80-hour weeks that we were putting into. And so I think that anyone that is trying to just, get you into, buying a course that is only focused on helping you become free from your job through land flipping is making a disservice, because that is the very beginning stage of it. Is, yes, replacing your job, yes, being able to buy that second home, yes, being able to retire a spouse, from all the cash profits that come from flipping land for cash, meaning you don't extend seller financing. When you start extending seller financing to sell your pieces of land, meaning somebody gives you a down payment on a property that, say, you paid $1,000 for, and that then they continue paying $19,000 because you sold it for 20 grand, and they continue paying those $19,000 over a period of, say, 5-10 years, that's when real, I think, entrepreneurial freedom starts to kick in. And really passive cash flow, or what we like to call forever cash, is really becoming a real thing in your life, that you do not have to, wake up every morning and, figure out where's the next county where you're going to send mailings to, or who's going to answer right now text or phone calls from potential buyers in order to flip for cash this one piece of property. There's nothing wrong with that. It's a great, amazing beginning, and it's going to give you, the beginning freedom of money, but it's not going to give you the freedom of time for the long run, in my opinion, to go out there and live out your purpose. So anyone that is only teaching you the beginning, in my opinion, or just pieces of it versus a complete, from A to Z transformation, is really, in my opinion, doing a disservice. And because we all want not just the cash, the cash flow and the cash profits, but we also want an amazing quality of life. We want a rich life that has and that enjoys those four freedoms: freedom of money, freedom of time, freedom of relationships, and freedom of purpose. And so, you want to, in the beginning, yes, go ahead and flip, like there's no tomorrow, but eventually you want to start evolving into really becoming a CEO of your land business, and treating your land flipping as a business, and the market right now, there's very little tools out there when it comes to automation, to actually developing leaders in the land investing space, and really helping you build out a team when it comes to your land business. Or flipping, real estate in general. I mean, everyone is focused on just teaching you how to flip that one piece of land, or flipping that, that first house or whatever, but nobody is out there really giving it the full spectrum of that evolution, of that transformation. And what I'm here to say is that that's wonderful. If you want to start, go ahead and start. We have an amazing method for you to start, but I want you to start thinking long term, that is not going to be the end game, that the end game really is about you being out eventually out of that land business, and that land business being a self-managing business that can really work without you. Because you will, if you keep on flipping, and just flipping, there will come a time where you perhaps may run out of gas, may run out of energy, or, you get sick, God forbid, or something happens to you. And then that cash flow from the land flipping for cash stops if you have not started to develop a passive income stream from land notes as well, and from land notes, and from having systems and team that can really help you take care of the acquisition, and which is not a fancy word for saying for purchasing the properties, and disposition, which is another fancy word for saying the sale of your properties. Yeah. So we want you to start thinking in terms of not just, flipping for cash, but start to think about flipping for, using the seller financing, using terms, and start thinking about leadership development. Start thinking about, how do I combine, my leadership development, automation and systems with the passive cash flow, and possibly bringing in team that can help me really step out of my business, and the business can continue to consistently either flip for cash or flip on terms. Yeah. So that's I think the main key, the main shift that I wanted to really, bring forth to you guys, so that, you can start, evaluating that, start having, conversations. If you have a business partner, if your business partner is your spouse, or start having that kind of thinking, that kind of long-term thinking that is going to really give you the entrepreneurial freedom that I know a lot of you are looking for. So, if you focus on this kind of thinking, I would say, anywhere between, just say 20 to 30% of the time of you that you spend right now in investing, and really taking a step back to reflect, okay, what do I need to do in terms of investing in systems, in leadership, in team building? You're going to start making some progress. And the natural path is for most of us to, if we don't know something, to go out there and start looking for training, for education. But the most, in my opinion, the most effective and efficient way to go about this is to go out there and actually look for people that are already doing this, that can be role models, that can help you collapse time. And this is kind of how our land profit coaching program, has evolved. We started with just wanting to help people get themselves, free from a job, or retire their spouses, or have the freedom to travel, to do, whatever they wanted, to start ministries, to send their kids to private school. And now really our land profit coaching program has really evolved into not just that, which is amazing transformation in itself, but that would be short-sighted, in terms of only helping you create growth and cash profits, and not really help you, start shifting and having that long-term view into creating an end game, using land as a cornerstone for your financial wealth strategy, in the future, when you no longer want to do actively the land flipping, when you, when you're getting older, if you're getting older, and that can only come from making, strategic decisions when it comes to systems for automation, team that is going to come and help you, and your own leadership development. And when I talk about that, leadership development is something that is much more of a long-term goal. You will see immediate results, immediate ROI on it, but a lot of those results or rewards will take a little bit of time. It's not something that can be done in 4 to 6 weeks. Getting to a deal can be done in 4 to 6 weeks. Creating a 6-figure boom can be done in like 6 months. This is not a problem. In 1 quarter, you can do that. We have clients that are successfully doing $100,000 in the first quarter of 2020, and in the middle of a pandemic. But that is a great beginning, but that should not be the end goal, and so when it comes to leadership development, if I go back to this long-term thinking, you have to understand that yes, that's a great way to start, but that the version of the person that is right now listening to this is not the same person that will actually be enjoying the entrepreneurial freedom that comes from having automation, team, leadership development, a year from now, for example. If we just start extending, our timeline of where we see, if we start thinking about less in weeks or quarters and more extending it, to a year or 2 or 3, it's going to take time. It's going to take time for you to grow into that role. And that's why for us, when we started, our land profit coaching program, and really redesigning it to give people the 360-degree support that we needed to not just create the success stories of big cash profits and big checks, but the success stories of true entrepreneurial freedom, that we needed to incorporate these other pieces as well. So I know that we actually just we just finished a masterclass where we talked about a lot of these concepts, and how you need to start, again, being strategic about not just your thinking, but the actions that you take in order to start basically building this self-managing land investing business that can work with or without you. And I think the 3 steps is, you first want to, start getting consistent profits. You want to start getting consistent profits from cash flips. You want to have consistent, deals that are coming in, that you're putting under contract, and you want consistent deals that you're selling. And those come from, not just training and getting education, but actually implementation support, and automation, and really having a team behind you that can help you get there very, very quickly. So that's the first step. The second step is, again, having systems, starting to think about how can I come and have people join me in my land flipping venture, in my land flipping enterprise, and help me. Those are in the form of VAs that can help you with a lot of the research, that can help you with a lot of the comparable analysis, and that can eventually be trained to even make offers for you. In the beginning, I wouldn't recommend that you get rid of that. That's a key piece that you want to understand and master really well. And if you ever delegate it, you need to spend the time in training that person over a period of time. Especially if you're going into new areas, but also delegating, and bringing in VAs or staff that is going to help you on the disposition side, that is going to help you, create listings, that is going to be fielding calls for you, so that those cash flips are starting to happen whether you're there or not. And that means that, that person is also going to have to be compensated for those accordingly, so that they really, come in there with the mentality of owner and the intention of an owner, like you are coming to it, right now, if you're the one that is actively doing all the flips. And the third step, is really, again, developing, this team that is going to help you become, where you are going to actually help them become land profit warriors, and really help you serve, your sellers, serve your buyers, and keep your land, your land flipping machine, your cash machine going, and that are selling not just on cash, on a cash format, but also selling on terms, offering seller financing so that you can start, creating that residual cash flow that really at the end of the day is king. Passive cash is king. That holy grail of passive cash flow does exist. We have been experiencing that for, almost 18, 19 years now from our land notes, and it is possible for you to have as well. And that's pretty much our goal right now, is to help others get out of the rat race, get you going with the land flips quickly, but also start evolving your leadership, evolving, your systems, and evolving, your outlook, your mindset, so that you can start thinking about developing a team that can produce not just cash profits, but also cash flow. Systems that can help you, automate a lot of the things that you might be working on right now that are absolutely busy movement, that are not profit producing activities. And I want you guys to realize that, that takes time, that the person that is listening to this right now, if you're just beginning, if you just did your first flip, or your first 2 flips, or your first 10 flips, or your first 20 flips, and you're in it, every day, day in and day out, that it's something that takes time. And but we need to start making strategic decisions and strategic moves today, in order to be able to reap the fruits of that entrepreneurial freedom that I'm talking about. And some of it, we already get the first tastes, when we start flipping, during the first 3, 4, 5, 6 months of starting this business. But I'm talking really long-term, sustainable, cash flow and team that can support you, so that you can, and systems that can support you, so that you can really focus on the, like I said, the profit producing activities, and that can really give you that freedom to live a rich life, where you can go out there and travel, 2-3 months of the year, and your business continue having, sales, whether and producing revenue and cash profits and cash flow, whether you're there or not. And then perhaps at some point, you decide that you want to start evolving and continuing forward to other asset classes such as apartments. That's exactly what happened to us. We continue flipping land, we continue flipping land for cash and for cash flow, and then we're transitioning some of those cash profits and cash flow into another asset class that that we can hold long term, that can really be what we call forever cash, and that can be a true generational wealth legacy, for our daughter Sophia, and that's what we want for you guys as well, for your family, for your existing children, to be able to stand on the shoulders of your confidence and really the financial legacy that you've created and built, and build upon it, and so that kind of long-term thinking is kind of like what we're thinking of whenever I say long-term, but that doesn't mean that you don't start seeing results right away. You can see results like massive quantum leaps in 3 months, in 6 months, in a year. You just need to, realize that there's this next level of scope, or this next level of evolution that you need to start thinking about when it comes to land flipping and really creating cash confidence that can come from land. So with that, I hope that I was able to get you guys, with your wheels turning. If you guys want to attend the next masterclass, I believe you can go to landprofitmaster.com and get on the waiting list for that. Or if you would like to book a consult, with one of our team members inside of our Land Profit Generator group, you can do that as well. You can go also to landcoaching.com and book a session and see if this is a fit. If you're ready, to start stepping into that leadership development, that is going to give you the entrepreneurial freedom, I think that at the end of the day is going to bring that richness to your life. We would love to help you, because that's what our Land Profit Coaching program is all about. Is not just about getting you started. If you're at that point, we're going to get you to success in creating really quantum leaps in your income in no time. But then we're going to shift our focus to really giving you a complete transformational experience and helping you develop yourself as a leader of a company that is thinking truly, from a systems, automation, delegation, team, staff, that is going to be there to help you really enjoy, the freedom that you started your business most likely for. So with that said, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of InFLOW. I'm always excited to, hear inside of the group. So many of you reach out saying that, you enjoy these episodes. So thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I know that, I'm not just talking to myself here on the microphone. So thank you very much. And as always, remember, there's not just inflows of cash that we should be after, but also inflows of ease and inflows of grace. And that comes with support, 360-degree support from people that, and modeling people that have already done what you're trying to accomplish and that are helping you develop, that leadership so that you can start thinking about not just having a land flipping business, but really truly having a self-managing land flipping company that can, consistently produce results for you, whether you're there or not. So with that, thank you so much. And until the next one, bye-bye.
I hope this episode left you feeling inspired and ready to get inflows of cash, inflows of light, and inflows of faith in your life. I welcome your reviews on iTunes. Please leave me a review and help me create an amazing community of women in flow. Thank you, as always, for sharing your voice by going to michellebosch.com and joining the conversation about this show. And while you're there, grab a copy of my 10 Commandments to Living a Life in Flow. You can also follow me on Facebook at Michelle Bosch and on Instagram at Michelle Bosch Official. Thank you very much, and until the next one.